Hello and welcome to Cox Notes. I'm Bob Cox, and as any of you know who follow me at all, you know that most of this channel is dedicated to things that I'm concerned about in Colorado. Now and then I throw a little humor or a little, I might even throw a cooking thing in here once in a while, but for the most part, it's just things in Colorado. And today, I'm more or less responding to some inquiries I got on the video that I recently published regarding the intention or the possible intention of transplanting wolves uh, into the Billy Creek Wildlife Area in Ouray County. And I want to kind of dwell on that, but let me give you a little background to start with. This is the map that is routinely or monthly, I do believe, posted by the Colorado Parks and Wildlife that shows the activity of the wolves that have been released in Colorado. And I'll get into this a little deeper in a minute, but the last video it did was related to the possible release of wolves in Ouray County at the Billy Creek Wildlife Area, which is indicated by the arrow on this particular map. Now, this is the latest map that was released by Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and when some of my friends and viewers saw my last video, they began to question some stuff. And you'll notice the notes on here that indicate that the wolves are getting closer and closer to the New Mexico border. But what some of my viewers pointed out was that it is a little confusing if you look at these maps. Look way up in the northwest corner, the upper left-hand corner of this map. You know that although CPW confirmed that there were wolves in Moffat County, and back in February it created quite a controversy. But if you look at this map and you don't look at it really close, you don't see a lot of evidence that there's wolves in Moffat County. And that is true in several other places. So a friend and a follower of this YouTube channel contacted me and said that she gets the impression that CPW is trying to downplay where the wolves really are. And she pointed out, and you can look at the map here. Again, I know this isn't a very good example of the map. You can blow it up if you want to think, but you know that wolves have been tracked in Teller County, up near the fluorescent fossil beds. If you look at the map, you really don't see a lot of evidence that those wolves were in Teller County. So, you know, the ranchers and some of the other people that I've conversed with and got messages from, they're a little concerned about this. There have been wolves that have been confirmed down in La Plata County, down in the south. And again, you look down there and you really don't see a lot of evidence on this map that La Plata County has been visited by wolves. So that's what I'm trying to address here is the questions that were brought up as a result of the first video I did on this, which was wildlife management with a big question mark. That was the title of it. So you might want to go back and look at that. But let me carry on with a few other little things. Let me mention here that Montrose County commissioners recently passed a resolution that would try to prohibit the introduction of wolves into Montrose County. Now, I'm not sure how successful that will be. This introduction program that was started and made into Colorado law is going to be hard to beat. but I think it can be beat. And I think one of the ways it can be beat is by looking at these maps and basically saying, hey, listen, they can bang their own drum. They can look at these maps and say, hooray, hooray for us. We have successfully established a wolf population in Colorado, so let's wrap it up here and stop it. I think that there's a way to do that through the legislature. Let's get back to the subject at hand here, though. And, you know, one of my private messages came through, and he made several references to different things that are happening around the state, and in some cases even out and out denial of the wolf population as it is in Colorado now. And he tells me that they're really not counting the offspring of these wolves very well, and I don't know if that's true, but you know, he was quite lengthy in his descriptions, and I can see why he arrives at these conclusions. And one of the things he referred to kind of comes back in my memory, and I think it was originally coined, or a version of it was originally coined by a guy by the name of Riley, who was a poet way back. And let me read what Riley said. He said, when I see a bird that walks like a duck and swims like a duck and quacks like a duck, I call that bird a duck. Now, that's pretty much where this friend of mine, or this private messenger, that's pretty much what he said. It's the way things look. He just doesn't believe a lot of it. And I can see why, because this whole thing, there's almost nobody on the western slope that voted for this, with the exception of a couple of counties on the western slope. All of this was passed as a result of eastern slope counties. And that's what a lot of the western slope ranchers and the people in the western slope are really concerned about, is that. One of the things that he pointed out was the fact that there's a possibility that there would be a new commissioner placed on the Montrose County Commission, and nobody really knows exactly where she stands on certain things. And I don't know. I've known her very well in the past, but I have not talked to her. But I can see why there are some questions being arisen on this. It just needs a lot more answers than what we're getting, I think. You know, I like the idiom about if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and swims like a duck, then it's a duck. But we have to be a little bit cautious about this too, because if we just take somebody else's word that it's a duck, we may be a little bit surprised. We may just wind up eating a little bit of crow. So verify what you hear, go out and look around, research it a little bit, ask questions, and then make your decision. Not based on what somebody else tells you, including me. I'm just here to encourage you to take a look at things. That's my whole thing. Frankly, my concern with this possibility that wolves will be introduced into the Billy Creek wildlife area, my concern is largely selfish. It's always been one of my favorite hunting areas. I think the wildlife is depleted now. I think wolves will deplete it more. And I think that cheats me out of one really good venison steak dinner. That's what upsets me as much as anything. So, I'm Bob Cox. This is Cox Notes. I really enjoy doing these things. I'm really concerned about some of the things that are happening in Colorado. And I hope you'll subscribe and sit down and take a listen to me once in a while. You might be surprised what I come up with. So we'll catch you later. And for now, you have a wonderful day, and may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for listening.